Okay, we're back on day 24 this week, and we're going through the entire process of the stack. And today, after going through the dark, and if you recall again, the dark is where you're in this position where you can't really see what's going on. You're blinded by some emotion or trigger, and the emotions that creates. Then we go into the drift, right? It's where you actually kind of go through another series of emotions where you drift off your path and you kind of lose sight and focus of where you're going. The follow up to that is the shift, right? We do a shift where basically we hit the brakes on the whole downhill slide, and then we create a lift. And today we're going to discuss the light. And what we want to do is we want to take the revelation, right? Once we've hit the brakes in the dark, we've hit the shift. We want to actually apply it, right? Why we get the revelations in the dark, right? We actually do all the learning, we do all the expansion in the dark. Once we've created uh, those and we get back into the light, that's where we can kind of redirect, get ourselves reoriented, and actually refocused and move on from there. Um, so the what we want to do is get our reaction. Like what is our reaction um, to the process? You know, all the things that we've just gone through, the lift and the drift and the darkness. What is our reaction to that, and how do I feel about the revelation? You know, what is my revelation? And once we have that in our job, really in the light, is to create a roadmap, right? We can't create a roadmap in the dark, but our job in the dark and where we find the light is in the dark, right? So once we create our expansion, once we grow, once we are actually build the muscle to pull ourselves out of the drift, and once we're in the light, um, we want to create a roadmap, right? We want to refocus on what it is we want. Once we reviewed the lesson and we've applied it across the board, then we have to come up with something that we're going to do with it, right? We have to come up with a plan. We have to refocus. Once it's reframed, we actually act to build a map on our journey forward, right? But inevitably, we've asked the question earlier in the stack, right? Is what are the roadblocks? Let's be conscious of the blocks that are going to inhibit us from going down the path, right? We have to be aware of the obstacles, and we asked that question right in the beginning of the whole stack, like what is in our way, like what is stopping us. And in that point, we often said there's mental and mental things, my beliefs, my fears, my all the things that would mentally stop you. And this time, while we take all those things into consideration, we're also looking at an expanded view of that. Like, what are while we take those into consideration, like what are the obstacles? You know, whether they be people or, and this isn't a storytelling game, right? This is where we have a controlled meaning uh, from our revelation, and we actually redraw the map in reality in a positive sense once we've extracted the story that is empowering. So in that, again, it all centers on the focus, right? Where it's result focuses. Will this get us what we want? And that's the question that we ask ourselves throughout. Um, the focus, again, is on the results. But what we want to take in special consideration is like this is the first time in this entire event. This is the first time once we've applied the meaning, a new meaning. This is once we've understood that the drift was a gift, right? Once we understand that we've taken a new meaning and a new revelation, and in our expanded self, well, we take the seed of what we wanted from the beginning. We have a different viewpoint of our expanded self. You know, perhaps the viewpoint of a 20-year-old rather than a 16-year-old, right? We've grown in that, and our vision is going to change, and we often have to take a little different direction at that point. To step back, I kind of feel like I didn't expand on this quite enough. Is the importance of documenting the revelation, right? The documenting the revelation so it can be compounded and applied over, so you don't grow in steps between your body being balanced business, right? We don't learn and have a revelation in the body and we can expand in the body and the rest of us doesn't grow in that same way, right? The idea is for this to become a part of us and apply this same lesson throughout our life, so we can expand in the traditional or the warrior way, right? So, once again, a quick review of the stack, right? We're kind of winding down, and this being the light, and what we're going to do at the end of the light, right? Is basically once we're in the dark and we're blinded, we can't really see it, and then we follow through into the drift. And I can't emphasize probably enough that we focus on the the meaning that we put to all this, and the process of the shifting. And pretty soon, at least for me, it's become a little bit of a habit, right? Where you go into a drift to identify the drift fairly early, and you're able to come out with a lesson compounded over all areas of your life. And once you're in the light, is where you create the new plan. You don't create the plan in the dark until you've got the momentum. You stop the the drift, created the lift, and once you're in the light, you create the plan. Once again, the assignment is to teach this, and if you can't teach it, you don't know it, and follow through on the rest of the assignment below. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow.